the headline is that the Seattle Seahawks, through 12 weeks of an NFL season, have won only 3 games. Longest regular season ever for the Seattle Seahawks has just gotten figuratively longer. And I said this a couple weeks ago. I don't know the way out of this. The way out of this is Russ finding DK and Russ finding Lockett, and only 9 targets between them last night. Lockett had a night. He was almost on a 100-yard receiver, but 1 catch for 13 yards for number 14 in your program, number 1 on the guy that is circled by every defensive coordinator out there. DK Metcalf is just unacceptable. Unacceptable. And the way out of this was supposed to be Russ coming back early from surgery. Problem is, they haven't won since Russ has come back from surgery. That's 3 straight losses since Russ has come back from surgery. And the offense is regressing. Regressing. They had the fewest snaps they've had all season in a game last night, which set the record for them in 2021 that they had set in the previous week. They're getting fewer and fewer snaps on offense. They can't run the football. They can't run it, so that you can't play action it if you can't run it. And if your play action game is the most lethal part of your passing game, then everyone's going to circle number 14 and say, we're not letting him beat us. Again, I'm not an all-22 maven, but it doesn't really take much to notice all that. And then if Russ is missing throws, which he did on occasion last night, that's just going to crush you. Had 5 straight 3-and-outs in the second half last night. Yep. And the Washington football team couldn't put much together themselves. And they lost their place kicker. And they thus had to go for 2, and they went for 2 and broke up a streak of 12 consecutive failed 2-point conversion attempts. So they would never have gone for 2 if they hadn't lost their kicker. And they went for 2. They finally broke up that streak. And then the Seahawks needed a 2 at the end of the game because of it to force overtime. And I couldn't believe this. It was their first 2-point conversion attempt of the season. Yeah. Just showed you just how offensively empty this season has been for Seattle. And this is the problem moving forward, short-term and long-term. Because in the short term, they're 3-8. And sure, that's only 2 games behind the playoff spot. But the rest of the NFC between spot 7, which the Washington football team now holds, and spot 15, which is what the Seahawks now hold at 3-8. They're not even on our screen sniffing it because there's so many teams sniffing it, 7 of them, because those 7 teams are within 1 game of the Washington football team. We can't fit the Seahawks on the screen. The only team below them are the winless Lions. So short term, even if somehow, some way they find a running game to unlock the passing game and they go on a run, they're going to have to leapfrog half of the conference to get to the spot that they need to get to. And their best shot at that would be to somehow have enough tie breaks go their way that a 9-8 record would be good enough to make the playoffs. Because that's what it's going to have to be. How's that going to happen? And then there's the long term. Russ was talking about during the non-playing season, lack of protection. Bunch of Washington football team players not named Chase Young because he's out wearing his lap last night. Then a couple times, I guess, I don't know, it was just rattling him. One time he took a sack with 2 minutes to go. I don't know what he was doing. Just throw the ball away on first down, make it 2nd and 10 instead it was 2nd and forever. But guess what? He still scored that touchdown, didn't he? So it's in there, I guess. Maybe you play fast. I have no idea. Again, I'm not an all-22 maven, but I just see what I see. And I see that the lack of protection is still there. The offense has totally regressed with the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, being there. And I know that Pete Carroll came on our show in the summer and bristled at the notion of let Russ cook because that means he was the one who was turning down the heat in the kitchen or kicking him out of the kitchen. And, of course, he wants to have Russ cook. That's the way that he wins a Super Bowl. He knows it. So you have to wonder if Russ is looking around saying, hey, out. I got to get out of here. Yeah. Because the first-round selection for the Seattle Seahawks belongs to the Jets in the Jamal Adams trade from a couple years ago. And the Jets pick from Seattle is only one worse than the current pick that the Jets are earning for themselves. If the Jets keep winning, the pick from Seattle could be worse. I mean, it could be better for them is what I'm saying. It could be higher. And guess what? The Jets are in one of those weird positions of being able to keep winning and not have to worry about the draft position, which is another reason why my world's just turned totally upside down these days. It's kind of crazy. Jets win, and they still win when someone else loses.
Even when I lose, I win.
So Seattle doesn't have the way out. They don't have the way. They may not have it out in the draft. They may not. They certainly don't look to see have it here. I said that a couple weeks ago. I don't see the way out. It just keeps getting darker. But they'll put their nose to the grindstone and figure out. If they win out and they go 9-8 and they finish with 6 straight wins, maybe the tiebreaks go their way. Problem is they have only one win in their division, and that is their still to date lone conference win. They're 1-6 in the NFC. I don't know the way out. They had to have that dub last night. Had to have it. They've lost 6 of 7 since that one lone NFC division and conference win at San Francisco. Totally different team now in San Francisco. Who they face next? At home.
More likely to be back next year, Russ or DK?
DK. Where's he going?
Not there. He doesn't want to play with Russell Wilson anymore. Looks pretty obvious.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and suppose what their relationship is or anything like that. All I know is he's massively frustrated because this is supposed to be his even better year, and it's totally regressed. And the reason for that is the run game is totally disappeared. The line is not protecting and not blowing open holes. And if you're a defensive coordinator, who are you taking away? Who are you taking away? That guy. Let Lockett get his run. That's it.
It's rough.
It sure is.
It's rough.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.